and welcome. Welcome everyone to Life Indeed, the podcast
Yes,
where we discuss the life the way it is not. We are really
absolutely.
excited today because we both have decided to share something with all of you, though we already have shared a video on all of our social media platform, made a little announcement with respect to date and timing change, but we would talk about what we have done so far in the continuation of all the 17 podcasts. We will talk a little bit about the guest, what we have learned from them, and to be honest, we want this session to be as interactive as possible, and we would love to take on questions from you, and we would love to answer them. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for your support and love that you have provided to us. And that was one of the primary reason we have been able to continuously do this episode week on week. That made us keep on our toe. My co-host was not there for a week because of the fact that he got COVID positive, but he again came back, and more in a more energized way. So thank you so much for all of your love. We would love to take on your questions. But before that, we would love to make an announcement as well as what we have done so far, our journey, our experience. We would love to share all of that with you today directly. So I would
Absolutely.
like my co host to just go ahead and talk a little bit about the experience and how it feels to be on the 18th episode of Life Indeed podcast.
Absolutely. I would love to, Tausif. Thanks a lot for, as usual, amazing and wonderful intro. So,
Thank you,
guys,
Piyush.
we are really excited and really happy today because, uh, the kind of excitement, the kind of happiness, the kind of, that bit kind of actually butterflies are flying in the stomach because
Yeah,
we are doing our first episode on Saturday, and it is almost the same kind of feeling when we
absolutely.
actually started our podcast almost 3 or 4 months back, and when
Yeah,
we conducted our first episode. So today also, ironically, I'm
feels like a
having the
first
same
episode.
feeling that we are just about to start our podcast, though it's our 18th episode, as you said. So, guys, from my side also, we are really grateful. We want to thank each and everyone, especially for spending your life's valuable time with us, because we are doing this live, and when you join us live, you are literally sharing your life moments with us, and we feel blessed actually that so many people join us live, and they share their emotions, share their impromptu questions as well. And we are literally blessed to have
Absolutely.
your kind of online family, extended family, we would say. And today we just want to speak from our heart. We actually literally, we have not decided any topic, no agenda. We just want to have heart to heart conversation. We also want to acknowledge our guest who have attended till date, and we would definitely would love to talk about the learnings, the experiences which we had in this
Absolutely.
18 episode. So, Tosif, what do you think? We are receiving a lot of comments. So first, let's acknowledge
Yeah.
these people,
And
wonderful
I think
people
thank you
actually.
so much everyone for joining. And I'm extremely glad that Anita, Rohit, Dr. Arun, hi to everyone. Raja, I'm Siddiqui. Hamad is saying, Tausif, would you be interested in starting a regular live in Hindi Urdu with me? Absolutely. You never know what lies
We
in the
would
future.
love to.
Piyush Patel, hope you have recovered now. Yes, he's doing fine now. Probably
Yes,
Piyush
thank
can
you.
let you know more about.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot, guys, for joining us and giving so much of unconditional support and love. So, as Piyush said, that today we want to connect heart to heart. We want to talk
Yes.
what is inside of our heart. We want to talk about our experience, what we have learned, what we discussed in last 17 episode with some of the very great people, and people from various backgrounds, some of the leaders, some of the fitness experts, and some of the people on a very high senior positions. So we would love to discuss those experiences with all of you today. And in the
Absolutely.
meantime, whatever questions that you would have, we would love to take on those questions and we would love to engage with you at a deeper level. So feel free to throw your questions on us, and we would love to discuss on them. It's not going to be an interview, to be honest. It is going to be a discussion with all of you guys today. And we would in between we would talk a little bit about why me and my co-host Piyush have decided to come together today and not having any guest, because of the fact that we are bringing some changes in our time and schedule. As you have all watched us, we have been doing this episode, the series of Life Indeed podcast episode continuously on Thursday at 10 p.m. But doing those 17 of episode, what we learned and realized that there were few people from the eastern part of the world. They were interested to come on our show, and they had a massive amount of experience to offer and knowledge to share with us. But because of the
Right.
fact that our timings were very late in India and on weekday, they were not able to make it. Secondly,
True.
we also realized that the engagement that we may have on Saturdays, which means that more number of people would be able to get benefited out of our experience and experience of others, because it's a weekend. So looking at all the pros and cons and the aspects, we decided to shift the timing and the date, a day of our podcast. Now we will be doing the Life Indeed podcast episode every week on Saturday at 10 at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. Let me repeat it. Yeah, so we'll continue to do so, and you will see more beautiful people coming in, guests from all across the world and from our own community. If you're interested, do let us know. You can DM me and Piyush. We would love to have you on our show. So that is something that we wanted to make an announcement. But along with that, we wanted to take this opportunity today to engage with you. So don't hesitate
Absolutely.
to put on any questions that you have with respect to self development, personal brand, or becoming the better version of yourself, social media, anything that you have that you want to basically, you want our perspective to share. We would love to share our perspective. Yeah, Piyush.
Absolutely, absolutely. We would like. I would like to add something here that so as Tausif said that we are bringing some changes. At the same time, we are also going to experiment a lot of things. In
Yeah,
fact, we would love to talk about. We would love to share about our future vision about our life and date podcast, or you can say how exactly we want to carry forward this podcast, and how we are visualizing after 6 months or 1 year down the line where we are heading, how we want to take it forward. We would like to share some of the glimpse about our future vision as well. So currently we are in conversation, we are having some discussions, we are also experimenting with a lot of things. So we would love to have your feedback, the kind of vision we are having about
yeah,
our life indeed podcast, or the things which we are going to do, which we want to do. We would love to have your advice, your feedback, your guidance, that either uh, the direction which we are taking is, it's not about right or wrong, but please share your perspective as well, that how we can make our life indeed podcast in a better way, and how we can add more and more value towards what we can accomplish in life and scale in
and
life.
absolutely.
So yeah, Tausif, I think we have already received one question. If you like to take it, that is from Rohit
Yeah, yeah,
Kardam.
definitely, Piyush. So
Yeah,
I think Rohit Kardam is asking how to create a strong network. It's a good question. I think Piyush is facing some connectivity issues. So I would love to take on this question from Rohit. First of all, Rohit, thank you so much for joining. And it's an amazing question because, you know, a lot of people, don't get success in their life because they don't have the company of the right people. They don't have the company, or they don't have the right kind of a network, or the people around them, that those who can uplift them in the hard times, or those who can sail through. So I think if you would love to know that how to create your network, I would like to know from yourself first that what kind of a network are you looking at? Are you looking to create an online network, or are you looking to create an offline network? So these are the two things. But the one thing is common, that there are certain prerequisites, certain dispositions, certain attributes that you need to have to build a network anywhere. So Piyush, you were I think your connection was lost. So I
Yeah,
was
actually, I
on the
was
question
facing
of
some.
how to
Yeah,
create a strong network. So I don't want to assume anything, Rohit. So I would love to know whether you're talking about building a relationship or the network on online or offline, and I would love to answer it. But if you're talking about building a connection online, because you have asked this question on LinkedIn, I would say that your time is the most important thing that you can give to someone. And this is coming out of my personal experience, that you
absolutely.
cannot expect any help from anybody if you don't even help the others. And 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 in that continuation, I would say, I would like to give my example. When I started on LinkedIn, I didn't have nobody. I just have 100 or 200 odd people in 2000, starting of 2019. And today I have a lot of people who are not only a connections on LinkedIn, but they are a good friend of mine through LinkedIn. And it only became possible because of the value add that I do to them, and learnings that I receive from them. So it's a mutual respect that you pay, the time that you spend with them, the learning that you share with them, the value that you add and expect. So it's all about how you nurture a long term relationship. If you are
Absolutely.
here to basically for some benefit, you just have certain goals, you just want to make some benefit out of people, probably you may not be successful in long term. But if you really and really genuinely care about people, you will see people start loving you, whether it is in offline setup or in online setup. So it's I think its rule is applicable. But there are many technicalities when it comes to using your platform. When you have good number of people, how to drive engagement, that's a different aspect altogether. But when it comes to increasing and building your network, I think most important, you need to make sure that you're giving attention to people, you're adding value to them. That's the only fundamental things. Piyush, you would
Absolutely.
love to add anything onto this?
Yeah, actually, you have explained really beautifully that if you really want to create a strong network, the first and the foremost fundamental is try to become a giver first. You know, whatever knowledge you have, whatever experience you have, start sharing. And the most important thing from my perspective to build a strong network is, so why do we want to build a strong network? So
Yeah.
network is all about building relationships, right?
Yeah.
A network is all about building relationships. Either you are building any relationship on social media, or whether it is online or offline, ultimately you are building a relationship. And this is what I believe, that if you want to build a strong relationship with anyone, relationship is like uh, nurturing a seed, nurturing a tree, nurturing a
Yeah.
plant.
Absolutely.
So when you plant a seed, you cannot expect that from tomorrow onwards you will start enjoying the fruits or start enjoying whatever you want to get from that plant or a tree. You have to nurture, you have to feed water, you have to give water, you have to give so many, you have to give it sunlight, you have to be patient, you have to give time, you have to give basically, ultimately,
Absolutely.
up to the certain period of time when so whatever you have given to that seed, eventually that plant or that tree will also start sharing its fruits, or
Benefits. Yeah.
whatever benefits it can give to you. So if you want to build a strong, create a strong network, just remember that ultimately you are building a relationship. And I don't think so that any relationship can be built up without uh, giving time, without patience, without giving lot of
Absolutely.
value. And at the same time, you also need to understand that if you want to create a strong network, and we both are a very big advocate of understanding or knowing the why behind it.
Yeah,
Why do you want to create a strong network? Try to find out that reason.
absolutely.
Because if you don't have reason, if you don't have that thing, that why you want to create a strong network, why you want to do that particular thing, you will not be able to give that continuous efforts. You will not be able to maintain the patience if you don't have why behind it. And that why should be selfless.
Yeah,
you know you don't,
absolutely
you
brilliant.
cannot expect that I just want to get some benefit out of my network. And then after, if you are going to build a network, you will not be able to succeed to build the real strong network. If you just want to get some benefit out of it for the sake of your good life, or whatever you want to achieve in your life, you will not be able to create that strong network. So try to become
Absolutely.
giver, try to understand why you want to create a strong network, and then be patient. Keep doing the things
Keep
for a
doing it.
certain period of time.
Keep
Absolutely.
watering
So
it. Yeah,
yeah, so we both are doing the same thing, that I have been doing it from last 2.5 years. You are also doing it from almost 2.5 years, 3 years, and now only we are able to build this strong network, and we are able to learn. We are so much blessed to have this wonderful people in our network. So I hope that we were
yeah,
able to give the required perspective.
yeah. Oh, do drop the comment if you think that it helped you, or you more want to hear something else. So we would love to acknowledge a few of the comments that people have actually,
Yep.
left in the comment section. So Dr. Aslam Daniel says, "Look within you; all what you need are there. Seek first the kingdom of God; all other things shall be added unto you. Be holy, for without holiness, no man shall see the God." I think you know what Dr. Sen and Daniel is talking about, that all you're seeking outward is lying within yourself. I think we both are advocate of this,
Absolutely.
and we strongly believe, and I can resonate with you, Doctor Asian, and because the only way out is in. Something that the answer that you're seeking on Google or outside is lying within you, provided you're able to connect with your soul. And
Absolutely.
Rohit Kadam is saying that both type of network. Yes, I think pretty much answered both of us on offline and online relationship building, or maybe a networking. Dr. Arun K. Shukla is saying, in social media evaluation of a brand, is it the content or the numbers that impresses the mind of the evaluators? As time today is very judgmental and critical, as a lot of people with a big range of level have jumped into the race. I think Piyush, because it is with respect to the brand, so you would love to answer,
Absolutely, I would
and I would
love
love
to
to add
take
to
this.
this. It's a good question.
So let's first try to understand that what exactly Dr.
Yeah,
Arun is asking. So in social media evaluation of a brand, is it the content or the numbers that impresses the mind of the evaluators, as time today is very judgmental and critical, as a lot of people with a big range of level have jumped into the race? It's really, I mean,
it's a
amazing
good question.
question. And yeah, I will try to answer this because it's a very complex and very important question to be answered. So this is what I believe. See, at the end of the day, you have to decide what exactly you want to achieve in your life.
Yeah,
And when we talk about the numbers, let's say subscribers, number of subscribers, number of followers, number of this, number of that, if you are into the number game, if you are into the race of numbers, you will never be able to have that feeling of fulfillment. Yeah,
yeah,
you will have some temporary happiness, that okay, I have achieved this numbers, or I am having like 1 million subscribers, or 500,000 this and that. But at the end of the day, you have to decide that what matters in your life. So I'm absolutely very much sure that Tausif, when you have started your journey of building a network, or when I have also started my journey of impacting people's life, I never bother about that how many comments,
Yeah,
how many likes, even in after having this journey of 2.5 years, when I'm writing a blog, when I'm making a video, or creating any kind of content.
yeah,
I don't bother that how many likes, how many comments, or how many people are going to react on my content. What I do is I selflessly, share my knowledge, share my limited experiences, share my perspective, and I just, put things into this universe. I don't care that how many people are going to like it, or how many people are, going to comment on my post or video.
yeah.
Because when you are creating something, when you are making something, and if you have that thing in your mind, that how many people are going to comment, or how many people are going to like my thing which I'm creating right now, you will become conscious. You will become, you will not be able to express yourself thoroughly. You will not be able to express yourself purely.
Yeah,
So don't just bother, if you genuinely want to make difference in people's life, if you genuinely want to add value in this world, if you genuinely believe that your life experiences, your knowledge can make difference in people's life, the very first fundamental is, don't just bother about numbers.
absolutely. And
So
I would like bang on. I mean, nothing could have been better than this. See, it's all about Piyush. The fundamental thing that you talked about, spoke about, is your reason. What is it that you're looking for? If you are on
absolutely,
social media, if you want to enhance your image, or increase the social media or the brand that you have, what is it that you're looking to achieve, and why do you want to achieve that? And to be
true,
honest, when I started, I'll give you my personal example. When I started on social media, I had this one thought in my mind that I want to create a difference. I never
yes,
had this idea that, whether my post or the write up or the video that I will post on social media would reach to a number of people. And Joy Abdullah is the greatest example of that. Once I was having a
absolutely,
discussion with him, he's there, and thank you so much for joining, Joy. And he was also saying that, algorithms they are not in our controls. Sometime a poor post can reach to many number of people, and
true,
one of the beautiful posts that wherein you have put your heart and sweat can be dumped by LinkedIn. So, I mean, let's not work on the things which are uncontrollable. Let's understand why we are starting. Why do we want to enhance our image of the brand? If we know about that reason, let's start pushing your content without having to, without having to worry how many number of people would like it, or how many number of people would comment or engage with it.
absolutely,
But yes, one thing is for sure. I would like to slightly add upon to, as Piyush said. This is definitely, we would love to clarify as to why we are doing what we are doing, and then keeping that aim, we would post the content which is aligned with our personal brand. At the
absolutely,
same time, I would also love and probably learn certain technical things, maybe the time and the things wherein I would post my content, because of the fact that I want to create a difference. It should reach to maximum number of people. So I may be able to identify the time when, maybe by my experience, when I'm posting, when it is reaching to maybe a lot, many number of people. For example, if you're in India, you would rather post your content in a daytime, rather than 12 or 11 in the midnight, because you may not have that engagement, because of the fact that you want your content to reach out to as maximum number of people as you want to, and it benefit other people. So there are very minuscule things that you may want to learn from a technical aspect. There are many other things as well that you may want to learn, because again, you're taking this decision to learn technical things. You're operating out of your vision. You're operating out of your why. It is not because of the likes and the comments that you're chasing after. So
Absolutely.
as Piyush, as rightly said, that just be clear on your why you want to do what you want to do. uh, Put your content which is aligned with your personal brand, and then obviously do not hesitate to learn the art and the science of how this works, how this platform works, because ultimately it helps you to reach, take
Absolutely.
your content to the people who really want it. So
Yes.
I think it helps you. I mean, as long as it answers your question, we are happy. And
So
I
in
think a lot
fact,
of people have added, yeah.
with respect to network, we have one more question from Mr. Samrendra. Networkers always give more than they take. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Completely agree, Mr. Samrendra. And that should be the objective. That should be the, I mean, if you really want to make difference, you have to become selfless. That's a kind of, a basic fundamental. So, in fact, we have one more question from Mr.
Yeah.
Yashwant Chaudhary.
Yashwant Chaudhary ji,
How
yeah.
to connect with core field company and show their skill. Mr. Yashwant, if you can please
I
elaborate
think
your
if he
question.
can rephrase his question, because if
Yeah,
I can understand by his question, he's asking me how to connect with the core field company and show their skill or your skill. So I think if you could
yeah,
rephrase your question,
bit
it would help
confusing.
us to answer. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely,
Hamad
absolutely,
Siddiqui saying giving is the only way to receive. Tausif Hassan also, that will lead to business opportunities too. Building trust is key to grow on LinkedIn. And not only
absolutely.
LinkedIn, absolutely, we both agree to this. And me and Piyush has been advocating these things that, so your presence on social media is a currency. The more you encash it, the more you hone it, the more advantages you would have. It's all about building trust, because people love the feeling of relatability. If I'll give I was reading an example in the book Start With Why in Simon Sinek, and he mentioned that there was a friend of mine who was looking for a babysitter because they wanted her baby to sit, because they both were working professionals and they wanted to
Hmm.
work, they wanted some free time. So they went to two babysitters. One was one was living in their neighbor, and another person was, because of the fact that somebody gave the contact of her lady. And you know what, that lady, which was very far from their home, was an expert babysitter. She was a professional babysitter. She had a lot of experience. But the people went to the babysitter which was residing in the neighbor. You know why did they take the decision? They took the decision because they were familiar with her.
Hmm.
They could relate with her. So the feeling of relatability, I would come to you if I know you. No matter how expert you are, if I don't know you, probably I would not come to you. So I think it's a classic example that Simon Sinek has mentioned, that
Mm-hmm.
it is very important to be present and show yourself up, no matter how foolish your content is. It is just that keep on showing, and probably over a period of time keep refining as to what you want or who you want to
Absolutely,
become.
absolutely,
What do
absolutely.
you say, Piyush?
Absolutely agreed. I mean, see, as you say that building trust, as Hamad Siddiqui said, that building trust is the key to grow on LinkedIn. So,
Absolutely.
as you say that it's just not about building trust on LinkedIn, but it should be the way of life. If you want
Yeah.
to build, I mean, building trust is very much essential if you want to build a good relationship. You know, you need to you need to build trust if you want to have a good relationship with anyone, not only on LinkedIn, in your offline, with your friends, with your spouse, with your parents. You have to build trust. In fact, this is what I believe. I go one step further. If you really want to have lifelong relationship, don't just limit yourself to the trust. Try to build faith.
Yeah.
So trust can be, sometimes because of some stupid reasons, trust can be, sometimes we feel we lose trust on someone.
Yeah.
just because we receive some kind of random information, and
Mhm.
literally it has happened with a lot of brands, lot of company, that just a small rumor has helped to destruct that trust which has been
That trust,
developed
yeah,
from with the help of years. But when you have faith,
it's
you know
unbreakable.
so that's why we say that when we say that I have a faith in my God, we don't say that I have trust on my God.
Absolutely fantastic.
Right? Because faith cannot be destructed in any manner. So instead of just restricting yourself, if you really want to build lifelong relationship, try to go above trust, try to develop faith in that particular relationship. So thoughts, if Dr. Arun is asking, my first question as another part, in this world of skeptical belief, how from a distance we can impress our credential as well as validate theirs. Very amazing, Dr. Arun. We really appreciate that you are asking just amazing questions. In fact, we are literally getting challenged by your questions, and we also need to think that what should be the answer. So, Tosif, what do you think? I mean, in this world of skeptical belief, how from a distance, so basically on social media we don't know each
Mhm.
other, and we both could be the classical answer of these questions. So I don't know how many people know this fact. So I and Tosif met on LinkedIn 2.5 years or almost 3 years back. But the irony is, even after sharing an amazing relationship, we have never met in person.
I
We
mean,
have never met in person.
absolutely. Hardly people would believe. I mean, it would force people to believe that we have never met, but we are doing so many things together.
Absolute,
God has
absolute.
been kind to
So,
us. I would like to
absolute.
take on this question from
Please,
Dr.
please, Tausif.
Arishugla. First of all, I
Go
want to
ahead.
congratulate for asking such a fantastic question once again and
Absolute.
sharing the second half, which was maybe left answered. I think if I understand, maybe I may take it wrong because maybe I'm not able to get what you're trying to say. But what I understand I'm trying to say is that it's 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 very skeptical when you see somebody online and trust them. Of course it is. You cannot trust somebody whom you have seen yesterday. If you don't know somebody from past 1 or 2 year, probably it would be very difficult to trust that person because you don't know their highs and lows. You don't know how that person treat you in the difficult times. You have not tried and tested that person, or you don't even
Absolute.
know how that person behaves on social media for a longer period of time. So I think if you really want to get into a relationship with somebody or want to build a trust, you need to first of all find out what are their values, because their values dictates a lot about their character. I mean,
True.
what kind of how do they like to spend their time? How do they have the conversation with you or with anyone on social media? So you have to become an objective observer. Become self-aware, become an objective as advisor, so for observer as to what, if you want to build a relationship with somebody, if you want to buy a product of someone, if you want to go ahead and make a partnership with somebody, I think you need to take your own sweet of time and understand their values. If those values matches of those you have, probably this is the right and the best time and the best juncture to make a relationship. If there is a
Absolute.
conflict between what you believe in and what they believe in, I would not advise that you go ahead and, for example, that there is a very fundamental reason why me and Piyush have collaborated for this podcast. Over a period of time we have been connected to each other, and we haven't spoken about what matches between us, but yes, we sensed it. God has given the power to sense, even if you don't say, watch, feel, but something you can sense. It means it's a vibe that connects you with the other person. So that's how we have started trusting each other. We have faith in each other. At times it happened that we may make some minor mistake, but the other person is ready to adjust because we know each other. Ultimately, it's
True.
all about, trusting and having faith. And we know that, if I'm not free, the other person can do the job. If the other person is not free, I can do the job. It's all about trusting, respecting, and knowing each other, and knowing each other's
True.
value. And if those
True.
matches, nothing like it, go ahead and do it. Do your job.
True. So I mean, you have to spend time. You have to, as you said, you
Absolutely.
have to be objective. You have
Observer, yeah.
to observe objectively, not subjectively.
Yeah, yeah.
So in fact, we talked a lot. We share a lot of things. We became vulnerable with each other. We shared a lot of challenges, the dark experiences of our life. We shared with each other, and that is how we were able to understand each other. And in fact, here I would like to add this beautiful example, which was shared by Captain Raghu Raman. So in one of the podcasts, somebody asked him ki, so Captain Raghu Raman, what do you think that why corporate employees do not share the same kind of relationship which army people or the people in uniform share? So he answered it really beautifully, that why they share a lot of bonding and why they have that kind of relationship where somebody is ordering or somebody is telling him to die, go into the war zone, and they just literally without hesitate, they get into the war zone. So they
Hmm.
share a lot of time with each other.
Yeah.
In corporate, what exactly happen is you share just 8 to 9 hours. So after 8 to 9 hours, what kind of person is your colleague, you don't know that.
You don't know.
So try to understand that what kind of things going on in his or her life. Try to understand what is his passion, what kind of books he is reading. So same fundamentals can be applied in online relationship as well. So in this world of skeptical belief, as you said, uh, I think the very first point is key. You have to you have to become. I mean, if don't skeptical about everyone basically. So this is what I heard, and I strongly believe that most of the human beings are good human beings. This is what we all need to
Absolutely.
believe. It's just the circumstances, it's just
That makes people different.
their upbringing, their life experiences. And if you are behaving in a manner, in a good manner, then definitely that person will also reciprocate. So
Absolutely,
thanks
bro.
once again, Dr. Arun. Please keep on asking such questions which challenges our knowledge and our life experiences as well. So
Rohit is
Rohit
saying,
is
thank you
saying,
very much, Tosif and Piyush Patel. This is very helpful. Thank you
really
so much, Rohit.
appreciate
We're glad to know
really
that
appreciate
we were
Rohit.
able to answer it.
Absolutely.
Tamas is saying, consistency. I think Vivek is also here. Thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
our show last time. Amazing, Tosif Bhai and Piyush Bhai. Great going. Thanks a lot. Hamad Siddiqui saying, I would refer to Think and Grow Rich. Your desire followed by your faith on yourself will lead to success, no matter what you wish to achieve. Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
Thanks a
sharing.
lot. And Joy Abdullah is saying, Doctor,
Yes.
okay. let me
Oops.
let me just put it. Dr. Arun Shukla, great question. Purpose, for example, why is one using social media has to be very clear. That leads to who to have as
Absolutely.
network or community. Without that clarity, one tends to go without direction. I would like to give a shout out for
Bang
my
on.
brother Joy that he's
Bang
doing a
on.
regular podcast and a session on clarity.
Bang
So of
on.
course you would love to follow. And Joy is saying that numbers don't create credibility, values does. Of course, that's what we have been discussing, both values as benefit from thank you so much, Joy, brother, for joining us. It's really a pleasure to have. And Arun Shukla, these questions has been framed to add, would love to take it, sorry,
Oops.
framed to these questions has been framed to add a diaphnose element to your discussion. Yes, the second part is also very important to add clarity to thought of many who are participating here. Thank you so much, Arun
Thank you so
Shukla. We,
much.
we really
Really
value your
appreciate.
contribution in coming in. Piyush, would you like to give a shout out for other comments?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Joy Abdullah, thanks a lot for uh, being there live, and we did an amazing podcast, and we spent almost 1.5 hours, if I'm not wrong.
That was the most interesting
And absolutely,
and
absolutely, we were
long
literally mesmerized
mesmerized.
by the knowledge and the wisdom which you shared in our podcast. Beautifully said, Tausif Hassan. Art and science, when we get to understand that mix, you see your network growing. Absolutely, absolutely. Shubham, yeah, Shubham is also there. I have a project related to cryptocurrency. Would you like to be a part of that? Then DM me. Oops, we
Brother,
were
we
not
don't understand
accepting.
cryptocurrency too much, but we would love to learn from you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rohit
Rohit Kadan is saying,
says exactly, trust and faith. True.
I think
So
somebody is asking a
Yashwant,
question. Yeah.
Yashwant
Piyush, would you like to
Chaudhary.
take it?
Yeah, is he asking a question? I mean, Yashwant
He's
Chaudhary.
he's asking a question. I think he's sharing an status and asking a question. I
Okay.
think.
I'm confused. So Yashwant Chaudhary is saying I'm confused in my profession, but I did BTech in mechanical engineer. I can resonate, brother. I am also mechanical engineer. Got job, but I was unsatisfied with company. I left that origination, but I'm looking for core company. Okay, you asked that particular question, and now you are uh,
Yeah,
giving the context. Thanks, thanks. So I am confused in my life what to do or not. Main motive is impact human life.
you are our
Okay,
brother, Yashwant.
you are. I mean, this is what we were talking about. That when you start sharing content, when you start sharing your life experiences, your knowledge, and if you genuinely want to impact people, then you will be able to attract the people who actually need your life experiences, your knowledge. So Yashwant, I would like to tell you that I am also mechanical engineer, and as you said, you got job, but you were dissatisfied with company, you left that origination, but now you are looking for core company. I'm confused in my life what to do or not. Main motive is impact human life. So Yashwant, I would like to understand more, in fact, that because such kind of questions are just not uh, very much straightforward. The answer of such kind of question is just not very much straightforward. I really need to
Yeah,
understand your financial condition, the overall things which are going on in your life. But with respect to your question, I would like to add this is, see, from childhood only. The writing, learning lot of things, helping people, literature was one of my passions. But because of our societal pressure, because of our overall system, I also had to do, and I'm saying that I had to do. I didn't have any kind of interest, or I never wanted to become an engineer. I actually wanted to get into some literature kind of field, or I wanted to go into some creative field. But because of things, or because of some unavoidable situation, I also had to go into the engineering. But after that also, I never uh, feel that I have been forced to do engineering. I did it with a proper interest. I did job as well for almost 16 years. But the thing which I did in last 2.5 years or 3 years back, when I started my passion journey, I simply asked myself that, do I really want to live the same kind of life for the rest of my life or not? And the answer was pretty similar, that I don't want to live the similar kind of life for the rest of my life. And then I have started working upon my passion. So if you really want to impact human life, see, paying bills, becoming financially independent is also important. So you have to find job because you have invested 4 years of your life in mechanical engineering. So that will be the low hanging fruit for you. Try to find a job in your field and then parallelly start working
Yeah,
upon your passion. The If you really want to impact human life, start working upon that parallelly, and then keep on experimenting, keep on doing things which you love to do, and then you will be
absolutely.
able to find that you will be able to fine tune that what exactly you want to do in your life. And if you really want to have further detailed conversation, because it's a bit difficult to you know
Yeah.
tell you or answer you in a limited manner on this live podcast, because we need to cater some other questions as well. So please ping me on LinkedIn or wherever you are comfortable. I would love to get connected with you and have a detailed conversation on this. So thanks a lot for asking this question.
So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Yashwant,
Tosif.
for this beautiful question. Enjoy saying great to have been able to catch you, Tausif Bhai and Piyush. Do excuse me as I have to jump. Thank you so much for joining and appreciate your time, whatever you gave to us. And Rohit is saying, Yashwant Chaudhary, don't be confused. Try something new like networking industry, build your own network. I think it's a friend's conversations. Dr. Arun Shukla, I'm grateful that you shared your experience, great team, and new to the digital world. We appreciate you joining us, Doctor, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
I correct to be clear as I am new to the social media. Thanks to both of you. We'll join back soon. Thank you so much for joining,
Thank you
guys. And
so much.
I think Piyush, this forum is open for everybody to post the questions. In the meanwhile, Piyush, in next 10 minutes, we would love to acknowledge the presence and discuss a little bit of about all the guests who have basically appeared on our show. So, I mean, we would start from the first show. Probably, I remember when there was a time when we were discussing about the format, why do we want to do this podcast, and what would should be the messaging, what is something that we need to discuss, and we it was a Herculean effort for us because that first ice break is very important, and we were very bewildered and confused as to how we are going to start because I mean, this was something which was beyond our belief. That I mean, Piyush have done a lot of live sessions on FB, but it was beyond my belief because I never did the live sessions to be honest to the public. So I was very conscious. But we discussed and we thought that let's go ahead and talk our heart out, and that is the right way because if we talk about something that we know, that will become easy for us, and that's how we started our first podcast. And after our first podcast we both were very happy and glad that this was something which was unexpected. We could have not thought this way, and that's where
Absolutely.
it all started. And then we started discussing about some of our experiences. We became vulnerable with the people, and the best part was that a lot of you came and shared your experience on the chat. You asked some of the very good questions, and we were able to answer them successfully. That made it a little more engaging. And we got a traction that, yes, this is something that is going to work. And today we are on 17th episode. So after doing 3 to 4 podcasts, we realized that instead of just talking about our own stories and sharing our own experience, it would be great if we start inviting people from all across the world from diverse background, because ultimately our goal is to share experiences and through those
Absolutely.
experiences make a difference in the society and in your life. So we started inviting people from all across industries, all across countries, and so far we have been able to invite a lot of people who we were honored to that they came on our sessions and shared their experience, and we got massive feedback. So Piyush, would you like to continue, like discuss about how was our experience with our guests?
Yeah, yeah, I would love to. In fact, as you said, we had really amazing guests, and till date, I think we have around 12 guests on
Yeah.
our podcast from various backgrounds and various fields, various experiences. So we really appreciate that, you you thought, you believed that this is the platform where uh, you would love to come and share your life experiences. So we really acknowledge, we are grateful to all the guests. And here at this moment, when we are talking about our initial phase of our podcast, uh, let's become little bit more vulnerable and let's share that experience. That, the first episode we did somewhere in, I think, December, but
Yeah,
then we both were not able to pull it out, that so almost for a month, or I don't remember, but 1 month or 1.5 months,
1.5 month.
we were not able to do our second episode.
Yeah,
So we have started, but somehow, because of some reasons or because of our skepticism, I don't know what exactly happened, but for almost 1.5 months we were not able to do our second episode. And then we again become hesitant, or we again become skeptical. We started thinking that, now how are we going to take it forward. But then that's the point, and that's the message I want to give to the people, that if you are feeling stuck, or if you feel that, so okay, I have started doing something, but now I'm not able to pull it off, or I'm not able to uh, put consistent efforts, try to do something, try to take some action, try, don't
yeah,
think that, it has gone, or it has, it is done. So we did our second episode after almost 1.5 months, and now today we are doing it consistently, and today we are having our 18th episode. So that
yeah,
was a kind of experience which will be there for a lifetime, that if you start something, and after starting also, if you are feeling stuck, don't just give up, you can restart. and
yeah.
and
Doing is better than overthinking.
that's absolutely, that's one of the most important life experiences I had till date, that, you know bouncing back or restarting
Yeah,
something. And in fact, I have shared a post about this as well, that we only restart the things which are really important in our life.
something that we care about.
We
Yeah,
start something, but then we feel, okay, I have started doing something, either making videos, or either uh, making content, creating content, making videos, writing a book,
yeah,
or whatever you want to achieve. You start something, but then you stop doing it. Let's say you have started going to gym, you go to the gym for a month, and then you stop doing it. Then what's the reason? Because it it doesn't fall under your priority list, it's not important for you. Whether you
yeah,
accept it or not, it's a brutal fact. We only restart the things which are really important, which are priorities
yeah.
for us. So after starting something and you feel stuck, and if you are not restarting, that means it's not important for you.
It's not
And
important.
try
And
to
one,
only do things which are important for you in your life. That's what. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And I
those.
would like to just add upon a very quick line onto this, that
Please.
when you restart, when you start from scratch, and when you
True.
restart, you start from experience. So do
Amazing.
not underestimate and undermine the power of your experience that you have gained from your previous attempt. So the so the
Absolutely.
so the efforts that you have put in, the experience that you have gained from previous attempts, you are going to cater into that experience when you're going to restart. So don't underestimate your second journey or the reboot. I mean, just go ahead and reboot. That's what we did, and we are continuously doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Rohit is saying thank you both of you. It's really amazing live session. Thanks a lot, Rohit,
It's a
MD,
pleasure, Rohit.
Rahil, MD Rahil is saying thanks to both of you for helping us to gain further knowledge. MD Rahil, this is just our humble effort, and we genuinely want to, you know, make people aware about life and impact the world. And it's just a humble effort. What we are trying to do is nothing more than a humble effort. So thanks a lot for acknowledging whatever we are trying to do. uh, Rohit is saying never give up attitude. Yeah,
Never give up
absolutely, man.
attitude.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So we have one more comment from Bushra Rehan. Superb session as usual. Indeed helpful for the people belonging different fields. You both guys are amazing and doing a great job. Thanks a lot
Thank you
for
so
Rehan.
much.
We really appreciate. Really appreciate.
Thank you so much. She's a friend of mine, and she's a childhood friend of mine, for those who
Oh,
don't know. And
great.
then she has a great character, and as well as she has a very great willpower. So thanks a lot for joining in, and thank you so much for your appreciation. I really appreciate you joining. Thank you, Bushra. And thanks a lot for everyone, and in fact, who have joined us, and then we
True.
shared our experience with our guest. I mean, there have been highs and lows. We went through this. As there is a saying goes by, if you're going through hell, keep going. No point stopping in the hell. So even if your life is not, treating you well, just keep going, keep pushing yourself, because you're stuck. That's the bad point. So I think, just a quick bit of a snap of what were our experience, because of the fact that we have been able to host people, have people from corporate, from fitness industry, from senior leadership team, and from diverse background, from network marketing, and several other industries. So, and from HR background as well. So we learned a lot of things. We have accumulated those experiences. And just to give you a little bit, just as Piyush initially discussed about in the beginning of this podcast today, that we not only are trying to change our timing and schedule, but we are trying to evolve this podcast into a movement. So this podcast will not be
Yes.
only limited to this live session on these social media platforms. We are thinking many more things, and that we would love to share with all of you. And we would
Absolutely.
definitely take your feedback, your suggestions, and we will try to incorporate them. And
Absolutely.
hopefully, and in the coming times, you would see a lot of evolution, a lot of more people coming in from different part of the world, a lot of various other activities that we have planned. They would be coming, but for now we want to keep that as a secret, and we would definitely love to reveal it. And we are taking gradual steps, and we are just evolving day by day, by your love and your support. So it has been an amazing discussion today, to be honest, and one of the best
Absolutely.
session, because in terms of people asking questions and us being able to add value and try our best to answer them. Hopefully, the answer that we gave were able to make a little amount of difference in your perspective, or they were able to answer your questions. So and we have absolutely loved it. And we were also thinking of doing such sessions solo, so that wherein we would not have any guest, probably we would come both together, and we would only dedicate those sessions with you only, wherein you will just come and post your questions, and we would love to answer them. I think there is one more question from Rohit. One more question: how to manage our team online mode? Okay,
I
I would
think
love to take this question and take your view,
it's
Piyush.
your core it's your core
Yeah.
competency, I think, so you should take it.
So Rohit, I think it's a great question, because it is the need of the hour, and because of COVID situation, a lot of people are working remotely. Even if you take an example, even in my team, there are a lot of people who are working different part of a country,
Hmm.
though they are working for the same organizations, but they're working from different part of the countries. And at times it is certainly very challenging to manage everything in remote setup, because obviously you cannot feel what other person is feeling. You can only, probably, when you come on a video call, you can just see each other, but you don't know what is going on. But When you meet somebody physically in a meeting room, 101, sitting in front of each other, you're able to sense, you're able to get the vibes, how the other person is feeling, how the other person is thinking. You're able to make some sense out of that. But in remote setup, you don't really know what is happening in their life, or you don't know
True.
what is going on in their mind.
True.
So it becomes very challenging. But ultimately, if we really want to manage this effectively, I think the same formula and the fundamentals are applicable here as well. It's all about how well you know the other person. Now, if you have a team, if you're leading a team, I have led a lot of team. Even, I mean, I've been lucky that I have almost led, I would rather say 50 to 60 teams, which is spanned across 1,000 to 1,200 people, which I've led in my 10 years of leadership career. But majority of that was on offline. I mean, we were managing team directly. I never had an experience before this pandemic of managing people remotely. But if I answer to your question specifically, I think that the more you talk, the more time you spend with your people, questions that you ask and try to understand them, the more they share things with you. It's all about saying as goes that if you're interested, they will become interested. If you yourself are not getting time for your people, if people are not your priority, then they will start feeling inferior. They will start feeling that they are
True.
in silos. They are working in silos. And to be honest, I'm sharing my personal example. At times, I'm not able to meet my manager for about, it's been almost a year that I haven't met him physically. I hardly talk to him like in 2 or 3 days. At times, I feel like I just have to motivate myself and work towards my goals. I don't need anybody to come and say, "How are you, Tosif?" I can feel that void. Just imagine the amount of pressure, amount of the thinkings, the silos that people are suffering from. Because in this time, I think the only way out is that you have regular connect with your people. Keep communicating with them, keep asking them. And in current scenario, there are a lot of organizations who have taken an initiative to start, they have started session on mindfulness, employees well-being. So I think, initiative like these, wherein they are able to engage with their team and employees, actually it helps. If you're leaving, so it's
Absolutely.
again, I mean, it's more of the same thing. The things that you give your most attention towards, they are the things that gets improved. If you don't give attention, if you don't care about your people, if you don't give time to them, if you don't have regular one-on-one, they will feel that they are sidelined and they are not being valued. So I think the best
Absolutely.
way to manage your team in on online setup is to just go ahead and have conversation, meaningful conversation, have regular connects. Piyush, what do you say? At least in
Yeah,
professional
absolutely.
setup.
I think you have answered it really beautifully. So here I remember this quote from Sadhguru that you know so people, ultimately people are human, so try to
Yeah, yeah.
get into the human mode. So Sadhguru says that so people don't like to be managed, as you asked that how to manage a team, but at human level, when you see, people don't like to get managed, they like to get associated,
Or treated.
treated.
Yeah.
So I mean, managing is
Good
bit a
perspective.
kind of authoritarian kind of tone that okay, I'm telling you, you have to do this, you
Because
have to
just a
do
quick
that.
one. You don't
Yeah.
manage people, you manage objects. People are not
Absolutely.
objects.
Exactly. That's what the point is. And that is where I'm coming. That,
Yeah.
so try to treat them as human. And as you said really beautifully, that when you are meeting someone in person, you can sense that if that person is having some personal issues or personal challenges, you can sense that. You can have that feeling.
Yeah.
But when you are having a meeting online, you cannot, because you are not having that human connection.
Yeah.
So to overcome that thing, my suggestion would be Try to connect with your team members other than your meetings as well.
Yeah.
Try to message them other than your office hours. Try to just a simple question, just a simple, how are you doing? How is your weekend going? How is your family?
Yeah.
Just give a call for 5 minutes at 10 p.m. I mean, just asking about their well-being, you know.
Absolutely.
So try to
Offline
connect,
communications are very important.
with your team on emotional level as well. And the example which I have shared about that army relationship, that's the main point, that when you spend a lot of time with each other, you try to understand that what kind of person that is beyond office hours. Try to understand that. And when you will be having that context, you will be able to relate, you will be able to connect with that person on an emotional level. And when you are able to connect on emotional level, then you will be able to do the things which you want to accomplish.
Wonders will
You know,
happen.
wonders will happen. that's
Yeah.
that's that's just a small context I wanted to
I think
share.
it's a great thing. I mean, I am also a strong advocate of having an online offline, communication. It's you're
Absolutely.
not just limited to just interact with people within your office. If you really want to build a long-lasting relationship or leave an impact or improve your performance, then you have to go beyond that, and that
Absolutely.
works.
Absolutely.
So thanks a lot, everyone. I mean, it's time for us to leave because it's almost the 1 hour, and it has been an amazing session today because of the some great questions by great people, and it made the session so engaging and interactive that we did not even realize that 1 hour has passed by. So
So in
thank you
fact,
so much.
Tausif, we
Yeah,
we literally forgot. In fact, I remember that. So we would love to acknowledge our guest, and I would love to
absolutely.
take the names. So
That would be
the
an honor.
very first guest which we had in our live session was Mr. Ravi Sharma. He talked about the kind of changes he had in his
Yeah,
life, and
change in
how
life.
he, like, absolutely, how he overcame or how he managed with all those changes, which were definitely an amazing session. Then we have we had Viman Roy.
Yeah,
In fact, it was also a very wonderful session. Then we had Rukia Khan. Definitely, she was our first lady guest actually, and
yeah,
I still remember he was so much humble, and
yeah.
uh, he shared his life story, that how he got married at a very younger age, and then afterwards the
She
same kind of
evolved.
story which we shared, that bouncing back in life. And we really
Yeah.
appreciate Rukia, that you came to our show, and you shared your amazing life story. So then we had Joy Abdullah. Tosif, would you like to share something about Joy?
I mean, it would be too little to talk about Joy Abdullah. I mean, the more I talk about this man, the more is less, rather. So Joy, we had, I think, the longest session that we had was with Joy Abdullah.
True.
So, and he's very experienced. And the most interesting part about his story and the inspiration that we can draw out of his story is that he started his self introspection and awareness journey at the age of 52 almost.
Can you
I mean, at
imagine?
this age, yeah, at this age, a lot of people think about retiring, traveling the world, and using the amount of money that they have saved for their retirement. But at this age, Joy has taken an inspiration and started self discovery, and he became a great leader. Of course, he had massive amount of experience of 30 plus years that he had with works, worked in different geographies, worked with different multinational organizations, and he used that experience. And one thing that was missing, he actually added that, and he became completely different person as he is today. He coaches a lot of companies on brand strategies, on business marketing, and we had a lot of learning from him. And we never we lost track of time, to be honest, and we didn't realize that when did the 1 hour pass. So thank you so much, Joy, to come on our show again and enriching us with your knowledge. Yeah,
And
please.
after that, we had Bhavin Surti. So Bhavin also shared really interesting story. In fact, it was one of the episodes where people were so much inspired by his story, because Bhavin story started how he spent his entire childhood in
Yeah,
a slum kind of area, not slum kind of, but in slum,
yeah,
Dharavi, which is Asia's largest slum, where he spent his most of the childhood time, and how he was able to pull himself out of that uh,
situation. Yeah,
poverty, that particular kind of situation, and then now he's on his life mission to make difference in others' life. And then we had Gail Gillibrand. So he was it was also one of the amazing episodes, because the kind
very
of
unorthodox.
amazing information, amazing wisdom, amazing knowledge which he shared about fitness and how we can keep ourselves fit. So
I
it
think
was
one
all
thing that I remember from his session is that you need to track your calories the way you track your finance.
the way you track your money in your bank.
Yeah, just
That
treat your
was
calories like that.
gem.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So thank you,
Absolutely.
Gabe, for coming
Thanks,
in.
Gail. And then we had Massimo. How can we forget Massimo?
Massimo Brabbia. Yeah, I think
Massimo,
he's a
I
very
hope
respected
you are
senior leader.
already. I, I think he's already in Singapore now, because
Yeah,
he shared that after 1 month
changed
he'll be
his job.
joining a company in Singapore, from Dubai to Singapore. And uh, the amazing wisdom and the learning which he shared, that don't just identify yourself with the your professional designation. Because
Yeah,
I asked him that how do you feel as a CEO. He said that I don't have any feeling, I don't have any attachment with my professional
title
designation. It's all about the kind of person I am. And that was one of the amazing
best.
learnings we had from that particular episode. And then we had Dr. Shonik. And in fact, I'm not able to talk much about him, because it's really sad. And in fact, just I think couple of weeks back only, we lost him. And in fact, when we did the first live session with him, that particular time only he was serving to people in some village area,
Yeah,
COVID patients only. He was serving to COVID patients only at that particular moment. But he was so much committed. He conducted that live session with the help of his mobile phone.
yeah,
And unfortunately, when he was serving to people, he was also
you got
affected
contaminated.
by contaminated. In fact, after that also we had one more session
One more session. Yeah,
with respect to COVID only. But then unfortunately he was not able to recover, and just a couple of weeks back only we lost him. So Dr. Shonik, wherever you are, you will be always there in our heart. And we will we will cherish those moments for a lifetime. We will
absolutely.
have we will keep your videos with us for lifetime, and we will share your learnings, your wisdom with our son, and with the entire world. So we would like to take this moment to uh, give our condolence to Dr.
Yeah,
Shonik. So
for a
Tausif,
minute.
if
Yeah,
you would like to share something.
I mean, so it's. I mean, I'm speechless, to be honest. It's very hard to express my feeling about him because I actually connected with him through Ravi sir. And Ravi sir has actually mentioned that Dr. Shanik is someone who always help people, help the society. So he would love to come on our podcast. So I remember I he gave me his contact number. I dialed him, and uh, in the very first attempt, he answered my phone, and he had a conversation. And he was so delighted that he would come on the show and share his experience, because of the fact that a lot of people are facing this trouble from this pandemic and COVID, and he himself thrown himself into situation wherein he was helping a lot of people. So he was a laparoscopic surgeon. So he went to some remote hometown in Himachal, and I remember when he had the second session with us, he's almost operated 35 laparoscopic people. uh, I can just imagine the level of courage he had, the level of great intent he had to share and make a difference in the society, because he helped so many people, even when he was not physically, or I would say he was not proper healthy. I mean, he went into the set in that situation, and at that time it was very pretty cold out there, and he did the second podcast with us with using his cell phone. It was not a good connection, but he did that session because we wanted that session at the very grim time when COVID was on its peak, and a lot of people were seeking a lot of answers that were unanswered. So he came
True.
on the second podcast, and he has answered those questions with a lot of commitment, and we never have realized that this is what's going to happen with him. And we would have never believed in our wildest dream that we will lose such a noble, such a great personality in few weeks of time. So I
True.
mean, I could not believe myself when I got to know the news. Piyush called me and told me, at that time was pretty very busy, and then I saw the message from Ravi sir that he lost the battle. But one thing is for sure, as Piyush said, that we are definitely going to miss him, and we will keep him alive on Life Indeed podcast. We will
Absolutely.
share his learning with our kids, with the society, and I would love if you guys can go and revisit that podcast. It is on our YouTube channel with Dr. Shonik, and probably this would be the greatest gift somebody can get, and get probably an opportunity to learn from him once again. I
Absolutely.
did
Absolutely.
revisited that podcast because I wanted to see how it went. So, in respect to him, we would just like to make a 1 minute silence, and just to pay the condolences and the respect to him, and probably that's the best that we can do at the moment for his soul.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And the biggest takeaway which I had from Dr. Shonik is, if you really want to, survive, or if you want to have good health, then you have to change your lifestyle, your
Yeah,
nutrition, the food which you are taking, the water intake, the whatever you are consuming, you have to be really careful. So please take care about your nutrition, because your food is your medicine and your medicine is your food. So
absolutely.
please take care about
Be
your
careful. Yeah,
nutrition. Be careful. And then we had Kevin Watt, where I was suffering from COVID, and then Tosif, you conducted that
yeah,
session really beautifully. So if you want to share some takeaway from that particular episode.
yeah. Thank you so much, Piyush. And I really remember that time when you were not well, and in fact, I was also very puzzled with the fact that Piyush was not well, and I had to do that session alone uh, with Kevin Ward. So I think he's an amazing individual. If you go and follow him on LinkedIn, he talks about a lot of self development concept. And that day he shared his design principles, how you can design the life the way you want. He shared how you can basically find your passion and purpose. So I asked some of the questions with him. That podcast is there, you can revisit. He's a great person. And he himself does his own live session on LinkedIn, wherein he talks about his journey, talks about his experience, talks about certain things through which you can learn. So it was an amazing session with Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin, for coming in on our show at the time when I did it alone. And yeah, Piyush.
Yep. And after that, we had Shikha Gupta, who is from HR background, and he also, yeah, I mean, shared some amazing insights about human resource. Not only human resource,
Yeah,
but the kind
she
of
shared her
life
experience.
she shared, her amazing experience. So how, so if you are a person who is looking forward to have uh, information or knowledge or guidance with respect to HR or recruitment, you can get connected with Shikha, because she's also one of the people who genuinely want to
Loves to help.
add value in people's life. She is a selfless
Yeah,
contributor, so you can connect with her if you are looking forward to have some guidance with respect to HR and recruitment. And then we had Amol Karale, who is a morning ritual miracle specialist, who help people to wake up early, and not only to wake up early, but to have some rituals in life, how rituals can help you to become, what he says is to become your version 2.0. It was really energetic session, but in that session we faced a lot of technological issues. We lost our connection, but it's a part of doing things online. It's a, you cannot avoid that, but still people watched that episode with a lot of patience, and so
yeah.
we would definitely
It was really
you know
inspirational.
absolutely, and energetic as well. Nobody can
Yeah,
match Amol's energy. And in fact, in that same week, we conducted two episodes.
yeah.
One on Thursday with Amol Karale, and then in the same week we conducted our second episode with Ravi Neb, who is a vice president of Dubai
Etisalat.
based company, and looking, yeah, it's a lot, yeah, looking after sales and marketing. And he also shared some amazing insights about
Very
life,
straightforward.
and he was so much clear, very straightforward, and very much clear thoughts. I have very rarely seen people with a kind of clarity which he had in life, and the kind of advices which he gave in the last episode. So if you would like to add something, Tosif.
Yes, I mean, this is one of the biggest key takeaways from his sharing, that he was very much clear as he want what he wanted to do from his own childhood. And then when I asked the reason that how did you find your passion, he said that he didn't have many options at that time, so he just started what he got, and he did a lot of hard work though. So that's really amazing that he shared his experience. And the biggest key takeaway was that he was very much clear on what he wanted to do, and he is still very clear on what he does, what he doesn't do. Like he loves audiobook rather than reading. He doesn't love reading books,
Absolutely
and a lot of things are so I love the people who are very honest and straightforward, and that's how we are supposed to be. So I think it was a great
true.
session with him.
So, I mean, this 12 amazing people which we had in our 17th, 18th episode. And then we, uh, in fact, we had, I literally forgot to mention one more person,
Vivek.
Vivek Kumar. Really sorry. So Vivek Kumar also was into job, and then he groomed himself. He worked upon his own self development, and now he's working as an independent business consultant and helping people to grow their business. He also shared some amazing insights about his life journey. So thanks a lot, Vivek, as well. And then we conducted one Q&A session as well in between. It was a very
Yeah,
much impromptu session, and where also people shared a lot of amazing questions, and then we had a really wonderful time. And yeah, we enjoyed
that gave
we
a different
enjoyed that
perspective
particular
to us.
episode. Yep. And that's why, in fact, we have decided to conduct at least one Q&A session once in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
And
think it's really great, and
as
yeah, it's really great because of the fact that we have had so many experience, and if I go back and connect the dots, I feel like that was the true purpose of our podcast, and that is the truth. So we are living by example. We are living our purpose every day, week on week, month by month. You know, people who comes on our podcast are actually sharing their experience, and that's ultimately what we want to achieve, because those experiences can actually teach other people. Other people can learn from each other's experiences, and they can adopt certain tools and tactics in their life and make a difference in their life. That's the ultimate purpose.
absolutely,
So it has been an amazing session, and a final shout out, and I just want to say thank you to you, Piyush, because ultimately it has been and a privilege that it would have not been possible without your commitment and without your time and without your wisdom that you always share with the audience. So it is important to say thank you to ourselves as well, and to you as well,
absolutely.
because ultimately this is what. And finally, thanks to the amazing audience, because they give us a lot of energy. If you are not there, I mean, our podcast is not there. So thanks a lot for being
Absolutely.
here. I think it's a
So,
time that we need to call on. Yeah.
really, really humbled, Tosif. So, I also want to take this opportunity that, in fact, I want to acknowledge this that so most of the guests which we had in our podcast, most of the guests came from your network. So the way you are nurturing your network and the way you are nurturing relationships, it's just amazing. So thank you so much for bringing such amazing guests on our live podcast. And I want to thank to myself as well for uh,
Yeah, that's the spirit.
showing showing the courage, or keep doing this thing on a consistent basis. And I just want to share some of the glimpse, as you already shared some of the glimpse about our future planning. So we literally want to make Life Indeed podcast a movement. We we want to invite people who selflessly want to contribute towards creating difference in people's life and impacting the world. So so right now we can just only share that we are
Yeah.
inviting people who genuinely, who want to selflessly contribute towards making this world a better place. Please connect it with us. We have a lot of things, we have a lot of plans. We want to do a lot of things, but without your support, without your contribution, we will not be able to pull out, we will not be able to create uh, the level of difference which we want to uh, create. So please be there, please support us, and just get connect with me or Tosif, and then we will have further and detailed conversation that how we want to take it further. And please keep sharing your valuable feedback, your suggestions, that how we can make this Life Indeed podcast, or I would say this movement, better. And so how we can add more and more value towards people's life. So there are two people, Kim and Ankit, who are a bit late and saying hello and hi. We are about to complete this episode. We will literally get carried away by our emotions, I think, and that is why we took, I mean, 1.5 hours. But that is how we want
Yeah.
to do this podcast, by bringing this raw emotions. Absolutely, Tausif.
Yeah, I think it's a time to conclude. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and
Thank you
looking
so
forward to
much.
see you next Saturday at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye
Take care,
bye.
guys. Bye bye. Take care.